Yes, any questions still here? Anyone, any questions still here that I can take?
Hi Kiran.
Good, please.
Yesterday we done this program, but we don't write this much of logic, and we define the names equal to arrays. That test one, test two, test three, and we
Mhm.
wrote just remove these test cases and
Correct.
dollar slash and the deleting has done.
Mhm.
Oh,
I
so
mean, are you asking me? Okay, and are you asking me why didn't I not follow that approach?
yeah.
Okay,
This
so
is like a
in
lengthy way, no?
exactly. So if you
Hmm.
have four resource groups, I can write it in an array like test 01, 02, 03, and etc. What if you have 400 resource groups like test and you want to remove all these
Okay.
things out? Then how you
Okay.
get? I mean, how do you get all these things into an array? It'll become very difficult to, let's say, go ahead and write all these things, right? So it's not really lengthy. You just went ahead and declared all the resource groups in the form of an array. I just went ahead and got all these resource groups in the form of an array. That's the only change that I did here.
Okay. Thank you.
I
Good, please.
Why can we try like this check text box?
Why can we try the text box? What exactly? Okay, text box. Okay,
Can we
remove,
try like
select something. Where? Yeah, we can also do that. Not a problem. I mean, select research. Your question, sorry. Why can't we try? Can you come again with your question? I didn't get you.
why can we try like this? Remove Azure source group
Mhm.
pipeline, select resource group pipeline where object like tester name like that.
You can also do that. I mean, you can also do that. It's much more simpler way. You can also try that out. But I'm just trying to, let's say, give it in a elaborate way so that everyone can really follow out here. You can also do
Okay,
that. The one that you can also do that here.
once try it. No, thank you.
Right now, it is executing it. So if I break this operation, it really won't, let's say, give me something. So I can also try that out. But I would suggest you to try it. Let me know
Okay,
what you are getting from that.
okay, thank you.
Can you please repeat force? Why we use that force?
Force. So if I don't use a force, so what will really happen out here is this. So let's go into, yeah, let's wait for this particular command to, let's say, execute. So if I don't use a force out here, every time you try to delete a resource group, you will get a dialog box here telling, are you sure you want to delete this out? You will get a dialog box here telling yes, no,
Okay,
and
okay.
suspend. You'll have to each and every time go ahead, click on that yes, and tell that, okay, fine, go ahead, delete this out.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else? Any questions? Okay. Is it possible to store only names of the resource group name and not the resource group object? Yes. You can just store the resource group name. And the other question Akshay is asking is that can we delete the resource group based on location? Yes, certainly. You can delete it based upon a location as well. As in, you will have to get, firstly, you cannot tell that, okay, fine, please go ahead, delete everything in this location. No, you'll have to get all your resource groups in that particular location and then start deleting that out. So also I'll try to do that. I'll also try to give that particular demo, but let me wait for this operations to complete, which will take a minute. And after that, I will address these two questions, which is it possible to store only names in that particular dollar names array? Definitely yes. You can also store only the names out there. In a very simpler way, yes, I can show you that too. But let's wait for this one. This is done. So all of the resource groups are deleted. Called test 01, 02, and 03 and 04. So all these things are now vanished. There is no resource group. So let's address a couple of questions out here. Can I store only names? Yes, I can store names. How can I store names? Let's check that out. So if I say if I say dollar names is equal to get hyphen AC resource group, what I can do is I can put a bracket around it, and in a very simpler way, I can say dot resource group name only to get the resource group names. So if you look at now the dollar names, will only have the resource group names out here. And from this, I can now apply a filter where hyphen object and I can go ahead, let's say, filter things out here. That's what I'm going to do right now. So let's go in here and I'll just, let's say, create a resource group. Now let's see this. I have a resource group in central US, and to address a question, can I delete a resource group, let's say, based upon the location? Certainly yes. You can do where object dollar dot, or you shouldn't do this one. Let's do this. You can say dollar dot location is equal to or is like central US or equal to central US. Anything is okay. Thing like central US. And if I run this out, what I get is in the dollar names. Main thing, let's see this. Let's get the resource groups out here, and let's see what is the location actually passed, what is the name of the location that is actually passed, and what is the pattern that I'm trying to filter. Let's say dollar names. And if you look at this, the location is actually coming to be, let's say, without any space. So I can do something like central star, and I can say a like here. And if I run this out, and if I look at what is there in my names, I only filtered resource groups with this particular central US. And now to address the question, is there a way to just filter out, or is there a way to only get, let's say, the name out here? Certainly, yes, you can do that. You can say $rg name is equal to $names dot resource group name. I'm putting a dot out here. Either you put a bracket here or put a dot here, will work. And if you now look at the RG name, I'm only filtering it out using that particular RG name out there, and then you can run a for each on top of it. So yes, you can get, or you can, let's say, get only one simple object as such as well. Yes, any questions still here? Anyone, any questions still here? To do all these activities, shall I log in as the administrator or a normal user in PowerShell? A normal user in PowerShell is good enough, not a problem. You don't really have to, let's say, log in as the administrator. So you only need to log in as the administrator if you want to change the property of your computer. Like, let's say, for example, when I do a set-execution policy, I end up changing the registry of my computer. That's the reason I'm, let's say, logged in as the administrator user. But to run all these commands to remove remote resources, you do not really need to log in as an administrator user. By admin access, we can do. Not really sure what that was, but I don't really need to be an administrator on PowerShell. Yes, any questions that I can take till here? Anyone, any questions that I can take
Is
till
there
here?
any other way to remove resource group without the pipeline?
No, I'm sorry, your voice was a little bit, let's say, low. Can you come again, please?
Is this okay?
Yeah, this is okay.
No. Is there any way, another way to remove a resource group without a pipeline?
Definitely, there is a way to remove the resource group without a pipeline, but firstly, you will have to get the resource groups. This is something that you have to do, and your logic will slightly get a little bit elaborated, but yes, I can also explain that too. Again, I'll just say names is equal to get hyphen easy resource groups. No pipeline, nothing. And if I now execute this out, and if I now see what is there in my names, I get all these things called resource group name is network watcher RG location and all these things out here. Now this is an object. What I stored is not just the name, it's an object out here. The names represents each and every object of a resource group, like resource group name, location and all these things out. Let's say you want to remove only a resource group called demo RG that is running inside a location called central US. Can I remove it? Definitely yes. How do I do it? I'll do a for each loop again because this is now an array. I'll say for each object in dollar names. Again, this can be anything, it can be value or something like this, anything. I'll say if I can use an if bracket saying if value dot, again, let's do one thing. Let's simply run this loop without anything else. I'll just run this once so that it can filter out the properties. And now I'll put an if loop here telling if value dot location is like central star star US, then go ahead and I can say write host found RG with the name dollar of dollar value dot resource group name in the location, and I'll delete the same. I can say remove hyphen AC resource group. I can say hyphen name. I can say dollar value dot resource group name. I can do a force parameter out here, or I can do an else loop telling no resource groups found in that particular location. No RGs found in central US, central location. And if I now run this out, now if you look at this one, without a pipe, there is no pipeline, there is nothing. But I wrote my own logic. But this is slightly a bit bigger than the earlier logic that I wrote. Because in the earlier logic, I did all this conditions and all these things using the pipeline itself. And then later I applied a for each loop. But in here, what I did is that I simply, let's say, got all my resource groups, and then I can run this out too. I can also do this. So I can do this one. Guys, can you please go on mute? Thank you. So I can do this one. And now it's able to find, let's say, something like a resource group called demo RG in this particular location. And it's only removing that one right now. Any which ways, your logic can be anything, small, big, elaborate, anything. I'm good with that. Until and unless it's working, I'm super good with that there. So yes, any questions till here? Anyone, any questions till here that I can take?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I try to grab. If like all the resources groups, I try to use the select string to grep.
Okay.
Search. It is not working. Select string does not work with it.
Select string, meaning you're just selecting one particular string out there, meaning string with a
Okay.
particular pattern. But
Hmm.
when you do a get hyphen AZ resource group, you don't really get a string. You get an entire object.
Yeah.
That itself is an array. So select
Okay.
string doesn't work there. Just a select
Okay.
statement kind of works there.
Okay.
Yes, any more questions, guys? Anyone, any more questions here?
Why the two stars in after central?
You can take any number of stars, not a problem. Until and unless you have one star, it's just a wildcard there.
Okay.
The reason I put a 2 star is because when someone is reading my script, it will become easy for them to understand that it's a wildcard. If you have just 1 star there, sometimes people might not be able to read it. They might get confused with that. Reason being, I normally put 2 stars or 3 stars, telling explicitly that it's a, telling explicitly that it's a wildcard out there. So any number of stars doesn't really matter out there. Yes, any more questions, guys? Anyone, any more questions here? Again, if you look at this particular program, it's just going ahead, identifying all the resource groups in that particular location and deleted this out, and it's reusable right now. If I now run this once
Hello.
again, just a second. If I now run this once again, it says no RG is found in central location out here. Reason being that resource group in central US got deleted in the first thing, and now there is only
Hello.
resource groups in a particular. I said 1 second. Give me a second. I'll come back to you. So now you do not have any resource groups in the central US location as such. All the resource groups are there in the East US, and my script, if you look at it, it's only trying to identify resource groups in a central US location and going ahead and deleting them out there. So now your script is reusable as such. Yes, I can take the question now.
Sir.
Go please.
So can we do that in for loops also? Sir? Can we delete this?
Definitely yes. You can do it in for loop also. If you want to do this in for loop, all I do is again same thing. Names get hyphen easy resource group, and I'll say for $I is equal to 0, $I is less than names dot count. Names dot count out here, so that I'm just giving the name out here and etc. And now I can go ahead and say, sorry, now I can do one more condition here telling this as I plus plus, and you can now start writing your logic out here. And here it's just going to be something like this. I'll say it is name of the resource group. It's dollar of dollar names bracket I. And in here, since I'm only, let's say, interested in names, I can give a dot resource group name. And if I run this out, I literally get the same thing. So you can do a for each, you can do a for loop, you can remove using the for. So you can now, if you remove this out, if you want to remove all the resource groups, I can say remove hyphen az resource group. I can say hyphen name, and I can now give dollar names dollar I, and I can use a force parameter to go ahead and remove everything out there, which I don't want to do right now because I have stored some data. I don't want to remove those resource groups as such. But yes, you can use a for loop, you can use a for each loop, you can use a do while, you can use an if else condition, you can use any loops until and unless it's working. I'm good with that. Yes, any more questions here? Anyone, any more questions here? Anyone, any questions that I can take till here? Okay,
Hello, sir.
please take this as an assignment. Please think. Yes, does someone have a question? I'm sorry.
So you said
Okay,
to read about the parameterization of PowerShell. No? We understand
right,
why do you
right.
want it.
Sorry, did you read about that, about parameterization?
Yes, I read, but I didn't understand why.
Sure, don't worry about that. I will anyways cover parameterization. So that's where I was coming down to the assignment. So if you, I mean, look at this particular assignment. So I'll give you a requirement. I'll give you a requirement out there and understand a couple of things out there. Now you have a client, let's say called Uber or someone like that. Now the requirement here is that you as a DevOps engineer should write a PowerShell script which checks or which takes the input from the user. So if you give this PowerShell script to me, if you write a PowerShell script to me and give it to me, the first line of the PowerShell script should ask me something like enter the name of the RG you want to create. Just like when we did an odd even program, I went ahead and I said enter the number that you want to check for even or odd, and then based upon that it went ahead and it went ahead and told me whether the number is even or odd, like that, right? Simple. The first line of your script, the first line of your script should just tell you whether the resource group, let's say, or let's say, it should just ask you to enter the name of the resource group. That's the first thing that it should tell you. After you do that, your script should check if the resource group exists or not, because the point of reusability is itself that the script should be running again and again, and when it runs it should first check whether the resource group already exists or not. If yes, The script should simply tell you that RG exists, not creating the one or not creating the RG. If no, then go ahead and create it. This is the end-to-end scripting that I want you all to think about, want you all to try, and we will in tomorrow's session look at this script using a concept called parameterization. As in, what do you mean by parameterization in PowerShell? How does it help you out? How does it help you, let's say, to write a better script? And how does it help you to, let's say, enhance your scripts? But don't think about parameterization for now. Think about how can you approach this logic. The very first thing that I want you all to, let's say, think about is that understand the question. If you understand the question, 50% of your solution is done. So please understand the question that I'm, let's say, giving you. So the question here is that as a user, I have to have a capability to go ahead and, let's say, enter the name of the resource group, because I'm your client. I want to create a resource group, but I don't want to, let's say, use uh, but the Azure portal to go ahead and create this out. I, as your client, should be able to, let's say, just go ahead and create all the names of the resource group as such. And as and when I create it, or as and when I enter it, your script should do a check to see whether the resource group is already there or not. The name that you're entering, is it already there? If it is there, then it should just tell that, okay, fine, the resource group exists. I won't create it. If it is no, that's when it should go ahead and create this out. This is the requirement that I want you all to, let's say, focus on. And we will look at this particular requirement in tomorrow's session. And with that, we will introduce ourselves to a concept called parameterization. As in, what do you mean by parameters in, let's say, PowerShell? How do we use something called as parameterization out there? This is what we are going to look at in tomorrow's session out there. But before I close, did everyone understand the requirement? Any questions with the requirement as such? Anyone who did not
You
follow
want
through?
us to do using parameters, or we can do with if loop or if will also?
Anything. I mean, I'll give you the freedom to, let's say, figure out your own logic. Again, I'm not asking you all to follow one particular logic. Any logic
Okay.
which works, I'm good with that. Because the intention of me giving you the, or let's say the program out here is for you all to think how the logic can, be developed, because each and every individual has a different way of, let's say, thinking. So I don't want you to force yourself to think in one way. Just try all the possibilities. Anything which works, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yes, any more questions, guys?
As you said yesterday, can you tell me the YouTube channel for PowerShell?
Oh yes, I will. Okay, so the question yesterday was that do we have a YouTube channel to, let's say, go ahead look at additional videos? Because of course, if there is additional videos, it'll be really helpful out there. So yes, I use a channel called Jagged Programmer. The channel name is a little bit weird, but this is really good. This is something that I found to be really helpful for PowerShell tutorials and etc. So what I want you to do is that there is a tutorial out here called Beginner PowerShell Tutorial. If you look at this, there is a lot of things out here. Let's see. This is PowerShell tutorial, not this one. This is not this one. Let's see this. That is AD objects. Let's see. Let's see. This is PowerShell. This is from Azure. Let's see this one. Let's see playlists. And let's go here and let's check this out. Intermediate. There is a beginner PowerShell tutorial, which I think is this one. Yes. So you can try this out. I'll just post this link in this particular chat panel. You can check this out. This is a really good course. I found this to be really helpful while I was preparing for PowerShell. After doing beginners, you can also do intermediate PowerShell. This should cover, this should really help you to cover a lot of basics out there. The first link that I post is a beginner. The second is an intermediate. You can look at this particular channel. There are a lot of, let's say, PowerShell videos out there. You can look at this one and you can, let's say, figure out which one that you want and which is your requirement and all these things out there. So you can try to do this out here. Does that answer your question? And yes, thanks for reminding me on that one. All right, so with that, I'll close the session, guys. We'll meet tomorrow again. The offline classes will resume from tomorrow. I just didn't take the offline class today. I'll be offline tomorrow, and we'll meet there and we'll discuss more on this one. But before that, please try this out. Please try the requirement. Please look at that particular YouTube channel if you need it, and let me know if there are any questions. Thank you, guys, and have a good day ahead.
This
These all things.
conference will now be recorded.
So today it's a demo. Then in this demo, what I'm going to cover is what we are going to teach with respect to this class, and what is your takeaways with respect to this course, and what you are going to learn. So yeah, that's all about me, and we'll go into the session. Actually, what we are going to learn with this. So so this course is mainly for Docker, Terraform, Docker, and Kubernetes. Okay, so we'll see in this. Can you please go on mute the people who are not talking? Okay, thank you. So this is what we are going to learn with respect to this Terraform, Docker, and Kubernetes. So we'll see one by one what is this all tools are for. Okay, so what is these tools are for, and why do we need to learn, and what we are going to achieve after learning this. We are going to see this with respect to this demo. Okay, what is these tools are for, and why do we need to learn, what we are going to get with these three tools. Okay, we'll see that. So we'll starting with the Terraform. Okay, so Terraform, what is this? What is this Terraform? Why do we need to learn? What is the benefits which we are going to get with this Terraform? Okay, so the buzzword, if you people aware this buzzword right now in entire IT industry, the buzzword is DevOps as well as anywhere, wherever you go, the buzzword is DevOps plus cloud computing. Okay, so how we can correlate this Terraform with these two buzzwords, cloud computing as well as DevOps. Okay, so what is Terraform first of all? Okay, we'll see that. So if you people aware this, Terraform is a open source. Okay, source open source. So it will available free of cost. And what is this Terraform? Why this is open source? What is this Terraform? Terraform is like, as I told, the buzzword is cloud computing. Many companies are going their infrastructure from on-prem to cloud compute. So they might be go with the Azure, they might be go with AWS, they might be go with the GCP, any cloud provider. Okay, any cloud provider, they will create their own accounts, and they are migrating their own data centers. Which is on-prem data center to cloud, any cloud, I can say any cloud. So to create these data centers, what they need to create their own account on Azure. Example, they create their own account. On top of that, they will create their own network. On top of that, they will create their own VMs, all these things. Okay, so it is okay, then they will create it manually, going console, they will create it. Now the problem is, for example, the another buzzword is DevOps. Okay, so what DevOps will do completely automation after developer has developed their code. The deployment process, everything will be automated. Okay, everything will be automated with respect to DevOps world. Okay, now during this DevOps world, now the problem is, Once the developer has been developed their code, now it need to be deployed. Okay, where it need to be deployed? It need to be deployed on cloud computing. So when they are deploying, it need to be server ready. Server need to be ready, right? Any cloud platform, you beat Azure, you beat AWS, you beat GCP, any cloud platform, server need to be ready. Okay, then during this automation, whenever we are going to deploy this, we need to take a pause. If server is not ready, you need to take a pause, then create a server, then create this server with as per our requirement. As per our requirement, in the sense, for example, I need this server need to be created with c5 large c5 large with 16 CPUs and 16 GB RAM, and with 10 GB hard disk. Then after this, I need to install some Tomcat as a web server or Nginx as a web server. Then need to start my web server. Once I complete, then I can resume my deployment to deploy my application. Okay, this in DevOps world, actually this pause is not acceptable. Everything automated should be automated. Then the problem is here with the traditional approach, the problem is it is not possible to integrate the automation pipelines with provision of infrastructure. It is not possible. Okay, to overcome this, so there are some tools came up, and that tools called as IAC, infrastructure as a code. So Terraform is a infrastructure as a code. Terraform is a tool which will give you infrastructure as a code. Okay, so what you can do with this code, you can integrate your pipelines, your deployment pipelines with this code. This code also will be built like a normal application code, and before going to deploy your application, your infrastructure will be get ready, and the deployment will be went smooth. Okay, the deployment will be went smooth. There is not required to take a pause here, and not required to wait for provision the infrastructure, not required anything. So one pipeline, there is one pipeline, so pipeline will be created, it will provision the infrastructure. On top of that, your application deployment pipeline will be called, and once infra provisioning is done, then automatically your application pipeline will call and the deployment will be happened. So this is completely automation of DevOps. Okay, this is completely automation of DevOps lifecycle. After a developer has been developed a code, then once they commit the code, then the DevOps engineer need to check whether my server is ready. If it is not ready, call the IAC tool, then create your infrastructure with all your requirements, then complete your configuration of your server. Once it is done, application pipeline will be deploy your application. Finally, a server will be your application, fully loaded application will be ready, it will serve to the end user. This is what we need to do as a DevOps engineer. Okay, so IAC will help you here. IAC will, infrastructure as a code will help you here. Without taking any pause, the application deployment will be went smooth. Okay, with went smooth to deploy application. Okay, it is completely automation. Because of that reason, the IAC tools are getting popular. In this IAC tool, Terraform is getting most popular. Why? Because as I told in my first point, it is a open source, no need to pay any cost. This is a open source, you can download it and you can use it. And one more advantage with the Terraform is, this is a cloud platform independent. This is a cloud platform independent. What is cloud platform independent? If you know the Terraform, if you know how to use the Terraform, you can create infrastructure in any cloud platform. I can say in any, I can say you can create infrastructure in Azure, you can create infrastructure in GCP, you can create infrastructure in AWS, you can create infrastructure in DigitalOcean, anywhere. You can create your own repositories in Git, and you can create your infrastructure in your local laptop even. For example, if I am having my VM here, if you see, this is my Oracle VM, I can create new VM using Terraform. It is possible. I can create my VM using Terraform. It is possible. And I can create VMware VM using Terraform. There are lot of providers has been available in Terraform level. Using those providers concept, we can create infrastructure anywhere. If you know core Terraform, what do you mean by Terraform, how to use it, then you can create your infrastructure in anywhere remotely, and you can integrate this in Terraform with your any pipelines. You can be it Azure Devops, you can be it Jenkins, you can be it Bamboo pipelines, any pipelines, CI/CD pipelines, you can integrate this Terraform tool. Okay, so those are the two advantages makes Terraform most popular. One is platform independent, cloud platform independent. Second is it can be integrated with any CI/CD tools like Jenkins, Bamboo, Azure DevOps, anything. Okay, so what are all the different IAC tools which available in market? We are having CloudFormation, we are having Heat, we are having Ansible, we are having SaltStack, Chef, Puppet. These are also considered as a IAC tools. Okay, but why these are not getting popular? Because CloudFormation, example, take CloudFormation. CloudFormation is a tool which will work only on AWS. It is not going to work on any other platforms. And one more thing, Terraform, why it is getting popular? Because Terraform is going to integrate one new concept called as TerraGrant or Terraform wrappers, I can say. These are more advanced concepts. But what is TerraGrant or if you know the Terraform, you can be able to learn TerraGrant also. TerraGrant, or I can say Terraform wrappers. Terraform wrappers. What do you mean by this? Terraform wrappers and TerraGrant. Okay, so example, my application, let me delete this. So example, there is one company, they are having hybrid cloud. Example, hybrid cloud in the sense they are using three types of cloud. Example, Azure and AWS and GCP. Okay, they are using some infrastructure here, some infrastructure here, some infrastructure here. Okay, if you know Terraform, then with help of wrappers, okay, with the help of wrappers, with one configuration file, one config file, so you can create infrastructure in anywhere. Okay, what this wrapper will do, wrapper will enable you. Okay, so it will ask you the argument, what is the provider you want to create. Example, I give Azure. Then what you want to create, I need to create a VM. Then what is the size of VM, then you need to pass this, and automatically it will authenticate your Azure, and it will create your infrastructure over here with the wrappers concept. But it is a more advanced. If you know Terraform, then it will be very easy to learn these wrappers also. Okay, so because of that reason, Terraform again more popular nowadays. Okay, so the three advantages, one is platform independent, and the second thing is it can be integrate with any pipelines, any pipeline tools like Bamboo, Jenkins, like I can say Azure DevOps, any pipelines. And the third thing is wrappers. Wrappers will help you to create your infrastructure anywhere with a single configuration. And the fourth advantage is there will be workspace concept. I will teach you what do you mean by workspace. In Terraform we are having workspace. Okay, so for example, what workspace will do, workspace, for example, you are having one application which is having different environments, like there is a dev environment, there is a pre-prod environment, there is a production environment. Example, I want to create infrastructure for this three platforms, three different environments. Okay, three different environments. Then with a single configuration file, with a single Terraform configuration file, I can create my three environments at a time. It is possible. Workspace for production, workspace for pre-production, workspace for dev. I can create with a single Terraform configuration file. I can create my three environments at a time without having any duplication of data. Okay, and one more thing we are having in Terraform, there is a dry principle. Okay, dry principle means don't repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. Okay, so Terraform will support this dry principle. What do you mean by dry principle? Okay, so dry principle will help you. For example, there will be, I need to create some infrastructure in Azure environment. Okay, there will be predefined modules will be there. Predefined modules will be there. Modules in the sense, there will be predefined code is ready. Code is ready. Just take that code, modify that code as per your requirement, as per your requirement, and deploy your infrastructure as per your requirement. Okay, so what here it is doing, you are not repeating already existing code. You are not repeating, you are taking, someone has built that code, you are taking that code and you are modifying as per your requirement, and then you are implementing. So see how easy it is to create your infrastructure. Very very easy, right? With the dry principle, you can take modules, and you can modify as per your requirement, and you can deploy your infrastructure. Okay, that is also possible using Terraform. So the takeaway here is platform independent, integrate with any CI/CD pipelines, workspace, wrappers, and the final thing is dry. Okay, with help of this all, we can create our infrastructure very effectively, secure, and fast. Okay, so effective, secure, and fast environment will be created if you use Terraform. Any cloud platform, I am saying. Okay, if you know core Terraform, you can apply this Terraform techniques in any platform. Okay, so this is what Terraform is. And who created this Terraform? Terraform is owned by HashiCorp. Okay, Terraform is owned by HashiCorp, and to write your configuration files, HashiCorp introduced one new language called as HCL, HashiCorp language. HashiCorp language, it is very very easy language. For example, I want to develop some web page. What I need to know? I need to know HTML, right? Or if I want to write some logic, I need to know, might be some Python, I need to know some C++ or Java wrappers, like that. If I want to create a Terraform scripts to create my infrastructure, I need to learn HCL. I am going to teach this HCL also, how to learn. It is very very easy, very easy. So I know little bit of Python, I know little bit of C++. To learn C++, for me it took almost 1 year, but to learn HCL for me it took only 5 to 6 days. That much easy it is. Okay, so very very easy. Don't worry about this. I will take you through what is HCL, what will be the syntax. Even no need to learn, actually no need to learn. There are a lot of things are available in HCL. Let me go with HashiCorp. So this is actually HashiCorp, which is who developed this Terraform. Okay, so let me go with Terraform Azure VM module. See, if I click this, it is having registry. Okay, so if you see here, it is already there. How to use it? See, it is already there. Provider is Azure RM, then resource is resource group, Then where you need to create your resource group is nothing but it's just like a project where you want to create your VM. Okay, resource group. And after this module will help you to create your VM. What is your OS need to be, and what is your public IP, and what is your source where you want to create. So all these things it is already, just you need to copy paste your in your Terraform configuration file, modify accordingly. For example, my subnet is something depending on 20.20.1.24. Modify my subnet, and my resource group name is something different. Here example resource name is example resource. Here my resource name is something different, and my location is something different. Modify accordingly. Then I can take this, modify as per my requirement. Then I can create my own infrastructure. Okay, so no need to learn even HCL language, but it is good to learn little bit, because if you want to create your own resources, then it is good to learn. I will teach you how to learn this also. Okay, so that is overall about Terraform will help you to create your infrastructure irrespective of any cloud platform, and it will help you to integrate infra provisioning with your any CI/CD pipelines, as well as it will help you to use dry principle without repeating the code someone has been already developed. Sorry, using modules concept someone has been already developed. Take that modules and modify accordingly, and then create your infrastructure with the effective, with the secure, with the speed. Okay, that is all about Terraform. Is there any doubts in Terraform? Anyone having any doubts?
Yeah, Srini, hello.
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, this in Terraform wrappers, we have one config file, right?
Yes.
So with one config, we can create at a time in multiple clouds.
Yes, it is possible. So Terraform, as I told, Terraform wrappers is something advanced concept. So Terraform will work with the Python actually. Okay. So what Python will do, Python will integrate, for example, you find that Terraform configuration file, then it will ask who is a provider you want to create infrastructure. Then you will say Azure. Then where you want to create, what is the resource group, then you need to create all these things. So Terraform wrappers will create one Terraform configuration file. And for your information guys, Terraform wrappers, as I told, it is not a core Terraform. It is little bit advanced concept. I can say next level of Terraform. Okay. So Terraform, if you know the core Terraform, then only you can go with the Terraform wrappers. Okay. First you need to learn Terraform, core Terraform, then you can apply the techniques into Terraform wrappers. Okay, so it is a basic block. You need to learn the Terraform, then only you can see into wrappers. That is next level, I can say.
Excellent. Yeah,
Okay,
got it. Okay, and it will work with Python. Huh?
yes, wrappers will work with a Python, little bit of Python, I can say.
So we need to learn Python, or it's not required.
It's next level. I will teach you at the end. At the end, I will teach you how to use the wrappers. No worry about that. Okay.
Yeah, okay, Srini. All right.
Okay. Any other doubts
Yeah, one
on
more
Terraform?
you told like related to Terraform Granite or something.
Terraform Grant. Terra
Yeah.
Grant.
What is the
Terra
use
Grant
of that?
actually, yeah, Terra Grant actually, it will work with wrappers. That is next level. Terra Grant is the wrappers to next level. Okay, see these all steps. Okay, first step is core Terraform, then wrappers, Terra Grant. Terra Grant actually it is a clicks. Like if you see the cloud formation templates, if you enter into AWS cloud formation templates, you can drag and drop something. It will create automatically some templates for you. Using the template, you can create your own infrastructure. That is next, more advanced to Terraform, I can say. Okay, Abhishek. Or I don't know who asked this question. Okay, so Terra Grant, Terraform wrappers, these are all without knowing Terraform, core Terraform, these all will be like uh, these all will be like some other world, I can say. So first learn Terraform. Okay, Terraform, how to apply the Terraform, how to create a workspaces, how to create a different infrastructure. First learn Terraform, then see what wrappers will do, what is the advanced things we can do, and what TerraGrant will do. Okay, understood?
Yeah. And do we get any real-time project like that
Yes,
practices?
obviously. I will show you how to integrate this with your Jenkins pipeline. If you need with Azure pipelines, how to integrate and how to create our own infrastructure with this. Yes, we will do real-time projects also. Okay.
Okay, so in this like in our course like Terraform, Docker, and Kubernetes. So mainly you are like which cloud you will integrate mainly, like Azure or AWS or GCP
We'll see
or
both Azure and AWS. We'll see both Azure and
okay.
AWS. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, all right. Okay.
So if you know at least two clouds how to create this, then third cloud is not that much difficult, I can say, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So
Okay.
we'll move to next concept. What is Docker and what is Kubernetes? What is the use of this and why it is? So I hope you people know Kubernetes is most popular tool in DevOps world, right? Anyone having doubt in this? Anyone agree with this? Everyone agree with this? Kubernetes is most popular tool in entire DevOps lifecycle, correct?
Correct.
Agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, so then now what is Docker and what is Kubernetes? We'll see that. Okay, so again, now we will try to understand three important things. I told you infra provisioning with the help of Terraform. Infra provisioning. Infra provisioning means I told you might be you can provision infrastructure in your on-prem. On-prem, you can provision infrastructure on cloud also. Okay, so I told you this. Now we will understand how the infrastructure will be, how the infrastructure in traditional world, how the infrastructure in previous older days, how the infrastructure in 2000 2020, and now how the infrastructure is in current scenario. We will try to understand. So in older days 2000 2010 2015 up to that, if you want to deploy an application, if you want to deploy an application, so how, where we are going to deploy? We are going to deploy in one physical hardware. So how the physical hardware will be? So there will be hardware layer, on top of there will be OS layer, right? There will be hardware layer, there will be OS layer. On top of that we are going to deploy application, right? So this application will expose a port. If it is a web server, web application, then it will expose a port 80 or 8080, or if it is a HTTPS request, then 443. Sorry, these three ports will be exposed on the application level. Then end user will use, like for example, www.mysite.com. then it will redirect via route 53 or DNS, then it will go here and it will resolve this port and this application will be accessible. Okay, this is older days. Okay, now here with this scenario, the problem is a server which is built with again 32 CPUs. Example, there is a big application, 32 CPUs, 64 GB RAM, and it is able to serve 1000 customers. Example. Okay, now I deployed my application. So my expectation, this application should be used by 1000 customers. Okay, now it is not reached my expectations. My application not reached my expectation. There are only 200 customers are using my application. Only 200 customers are using. Now, what about this store? These resources which I invested for this. Okay, there is a wastage of resources. For example, uh, 32 GB only, I can say 8 CPUs are enough to serve 200 customers, and only 16 GB RAM is enough to serve 200 customers. But I invested, by expecting 1000 customers, I invested this much money. Okay, so here remaining resources what are all there, here I am getting waste. Why I am getting waste? There is no possible to put one more application here in the same server. It is not possible to deploy one more application. Why? Because there will be port conflict. I can't use this port 80 for my another application, because of port conflict it is not possible for me to use this server. So I can't do anything. Here wastage of resources. Wastage of resources. Okay, now to overcome this, the next scenario we call it as virtualization. Okay, this is up to 2015 I can say, this type of scenario, or 2010, up to 2010 our infrastructure look like this. Okay, then from 2010 from or else 2015 onwards, there is a new concept called virtualization. Virtualization, what do you mean by virtualization? How to overcome this wastage of resources? Okay, now what virtualization will do, take the same server, it is a hardware layer, then OS layer, then on top of that there is a one more layer added, this layer we call it as a virtualization layer, and we call this layer, we call it as hypervisor. Hypervisor, did anyone hear this word hypervisor? Yes, no? Did anyone hear this word hypervisor?
Yes.
Okay. So what hypervisor will do? Hypervisor will allow your physical hardware can be divided into virtualization platform. Okay. So on top of this hypervisor, what you can do? You can create VMs, virtual machines. Okay, VM1, VM2, VM3, VM4, like that, any VMs you can do. So under this VMs you are having your guest OS, this we call it as host OS, this we call it as guest OS. Okay, so due to this guest OS, so what will happen, the application, so this guest OS having the people who are not talking, can you please go on mute? Okay, due to this guest OS, this is having its own set of ports, this is having this one set of ports, this is having this one set of ports. Here the application which you are hosting here, it is can use from this one set of ports, port number 80, 443 or 8080, and here the application which you are hosting here, it is having its own port set. Okay, portable, then it can use their own portable 443 and 8080 something. Okay, so due to this there is no port conflict in this virtualization platform, because guest OS is different than other VM. Okay, so this is how your port conflict will be overcome and how the resource utilization is. Okay, for example, first instead of investing total 32 GB and 64 GB and 32 CPUs to one VM, first start with 8 CPUs and start with 200 customers only. Okay, if it is getting increase, then increase the resources of your VM, or else if you want to deploy one more application from this resource pool, create one more VM. Okay, so this is how you can overcome wastage of resources. Here resources will be used very effectively. Okay, in the virtualization concept, no port conflict and no virtualization, no wastage of resources in virtualization layer. Okay, are we good with this, how traditional approach has been become most advanced to virtualization layer with the help of hypervisor? Understood everyone?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now in 2020s, or I can say in 2018 onwards, 2018 or 2019 onwards, now some intelligent people think like this. Okay, I'm having current scenario is like this, hardware layer, OS, on top of that virtual hypervisor, and I'm having VMs, VM1, it is having guest OS. Okay, on top of this I am deploying my application. Now So if it is a practice purpose, you can create how many number of VMs you can create and you can install this guest OS. But if I want to do this on same with production, what I need to do, I need to purchase additional license for my guest OS. How many VMs? For example, I created 100 VMs. I need to purchase 100 license, or I need to purchase depending on course. How many CPUs I am using for my CPU, for my VM, how much RAM I am using. I need to purchase some additional license depending on course. Okay, depending on course, I need to purchase additional license. Okay, so companies are having some capex cost to investing their licenses on this guest OS. Okay, so some intelligent people think, why do I need to purchase this guest OS license? What is the use? To deploy my application, what I need libraries and I need some binaries. Can I get these binaries and libraries from this, right? Okay, libraries and binaries. Can I take these libraries and binaries who is available from host OS? Can I combine this with my application? Is it possible? It is possible. Then with that process, the word came containers. Okay, so containers word came from this thought process. Can I get libraries and binaries which are required from the host OS, which combined with my application and create my application? Can I run my application like this here? So it is just like a virtualization platform only, no hypervisor is required. I can take libraries and binaries from my host OS and which embedded with my application and can run like a separate machine. Okay, yes, it is possible. Then the container word came. It will allow you to, a container will allow you to combine required libraries and binaries take from host OS and combine with your application. Both can run as a separate machine on your host OS. Okay, it is possible. Now how the infrastructure becomes? So this is a hardware layer, this is a host OS with libraries and binaries, and on top of that there will be one additional layer. What is this additional layer? I will tell you. Okay, one additional layer on top of that, your application with only required libraries and binaries. Here no host OS, no guest OS. If no guest OS, no need to purchase license. Okay, so how many guest OS licenses are there? Here there is no need to purchase. So what here effectively utilizing resources with the help of virtualization concept. Resources we are using effectively by creating number of containers. Each container is responsible to one application. Okay, by creating number of containers on top of your host OS, it is effectively using resources, and there is no guest OS purchase option here. Okay, not required. Only required libraries, binaries required, that can be taken from your host OS. Okay, so with this containers help, it can be achievable. Okay, so here resource utilization also very effective, and no guest OS purchase, not required. Okay, so with this companies are saving more. Okay, so with the container concept, companies are saving more. Now the question is how to combine this libraries and binaries with the application. They should be in between some layer will help us to combine these two, application and libraries. That layer we call it as container platform. Okay, so the example of this container platforms are docker. ఒక్క నిమిషం 1 minute అండి. Okay, sorry. So to combine these libraries and binaries with the application, there should be something we need to take help. Okay, that layer we called it as container platform layer. One example for container platform layer is Docker. Okay, Docker is a platform which will allow you to create your applications with required libraries and binaries from your host OS, and it will combine these two with your application. Okay, and it will finally create a container, and that container will be deployed on your machine. Okay, so Docker, what is Docker now? Docker is a container platform which will allow you to create a Docker containers. Okay, so you may get a question like, what is the difference between Docker and container? So now, are you good to answer this question? Docker is a platform. Docker is a platform which will allow you to create a container. And container is the one where your application will run with only required libraries and binaries. Are we good to answer such type of questions now? Get clear?
Yeah,
Correct or
clear.
not?
Correct.
Okay. So now the course content, what we are going to learn, how to create these containers, how to install Docker, on top of Docker, how to create these containers, how to create these libraries and binaries with application, how to write our Docker files, and how to combine these things, and how to use our own network, how to, for example, if this application requires some persistent storage, okay, to generate some logs, or if it is database related, then how to create a database related volumes for this, file systems for this, how to embed it, how to add these volumes to your containers using Docker. Everything we are going to learn, how to create a container, how to manage your containers, everything we are going to learn with this Docker concept. Okay, so now I hope you people understand why the companies are moving to container world, to save their capex cost. Okay, capex cost in the sense pre-investment in the sense, for example, I want to purchase guest OS, I want to purchase hardware. Instead of doing all these things, I can purchase only one machine with one host OS, then I can put my containers on top of this, in as many as containers until my capacity allows. Okay, so there is no port conflict, since every container will run like an individual VM. Okay, so there is no, even it will run like a VM, but there is no guest OS need to be purchased. Because of that reason, companies are going from traditional VM to container world. And one more thing, why companies are moving to container world is microservice versus monolithic architecture. Okay, so let me tell you what is this microservice and monolithic also. In previous days, when one server, one application, that days all applications are monolithic. What do you mean by monolithic? For example, I will take one example of an application. That application is having multiple modules. Okay, I will take e-commerce application which is having login module, which is having electronics, which is having fashion, which is having I can say order page and payment page. Okay, so I'm having one e-commerce application with this module. Now I put this into this type. Okay, now I put some offer like big billion days or something, Flipkart offers, all these things. Okay, so now I put offer on my only on electronics example. Only on electronics I put. So the people will log in and people will directly go into login electronics page. Whatever they want purchase, they will purchase. They will go to order page and they will process their payment. Okay, now it is working fine. For example, whenever I put offer, so the customers are getting increased from 1000 to 2000, 2000 to 5000, like that customers are increasing to purchase some mobiles or to purchase some electronic goods, I can say. Okay, so now the thing is, I want to auto scale my application. I want to auto scale my application with mono
Hello, Srini.
Yes.
We lost audio and video.
Yeah.
Microservice will say there is no tightly bounded. There is no tightly bounded. You can build this single service as a single microservice. This can also single independent microservice, independent mic. Now again with this scenario, I put some offer. Okay, I put some offer. Now if I want to auto scale only login module, it is possible. Login module can be, I can run 50 login modules. Electronics, I can run 100 100 electronics modules. Order page, I can run 50. I can run payment 50. It is possible with a microservice architecture of application. Okay, so understood what is the difference between microservice and monolithic? Understood, right? So now to
No,
deploy this
Srini.
microservices, to deploy this micro, not understood? Yes, no, maybe.
No. Can you repeat it
We
or just
lost
we
your
lost
voice.
audio?
Because your video lost for a while.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, for like
okay,
around
let
1
me
minute.
repeat. Let me repeat. Okay, what you missed actually, what you missed? Monolithic, you understood, right? What is monolithic?
Yeah, from monolithic, the video not played.
Oh, is it? Now, are you able to see my video?
Yes.
I mean to say
Yes.
my screen. Okay, okay. Let me see what is this monolithic and microservices. Let me tell you once again. So monolithic, for example, so in a traditional days, so as I told, so there is one application, OS. On top of this, I will put one application. So these all applications are monolithic. What do you mean by? Can you please go on mute? Who all are not talking? Okay. So monolithic means, example, if I take one e-commerce application. On top of that, I'm having login module, uh, electronics module, and I'm having, I can say, fashion module, and I'm having order page, I'm having payment. Okay, so example, I'm running this application which is deployed this type of infrastructure. Okay, so this is fine running. So 1,000 customers are using per day. Now I put some offer. So in that offer, only electronics will get 50% discount. I put some big billion days. So I put some offer on electronics. So 50% you will get, you will, when you purchase any mobile, I can. Okay, I put this kind of offer. Now my customers are increasing from 1,000 to all of sudden 5,000. It become 5,000. Now I want to auto scale. This server is not possible for me to serve 1,000 customers. I auto scale. I created one more machine. Oh yes. So I want to deploy this application. Okay. So even though I am not having any usage with this fashion module, no one is hitting now. Even though I don't have any usage with this monolithic, I need to auto scale. I need to deploy my entire application as it is. It will come with like a package, and I need to deploy like a package only. Okay, it is not possible to divide my application as a single unit. Okay, whatever I required electronics module I required. Is it possible? No, it is not possible. What monolithic will say? Monolithic will say each and every module is tightly coupled. It is not possible to divide one module to auto scale. It is not possible. Monolithic will say it is tightly coupled. And also one more disadvantage, if you developed one module in Java, you need to develop all modules in Java only. If you developed one module in Python, you need to develop all modules in Python only. Okay, that is language specific. Okay, so two disadvantages with monolithic is, one is you can't
Again, lost audio and video.
Yes.
Srini, again lost audio video.
Guys, am I audible now? Hello.
Yes, now it's
Yes.
audible.
Yes.
Now it's
Okay.
audible.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, actually, I network provider is having some issue, so I'm getting this poor network connection in router, but still okay. Right.
Voice is
So
breaking.
voice is breaking again. Oh man. Now I'm
No.
okay. Let me shift my network. Is it fine now?
Yeah, Srini.
Yes.
Guys, are you able to see my desktop now?
Yes.
No
Yes.
audio.
Yes, yes,
What's
now we can
happening?
see and hear.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay, now I hope it is fine. So it is fine, right? Right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the microservice world will say, like, so it will say, for example, even I'm having different modules. Okay. So what microservice will do? Microservice will say you you can divide each and every module. You can run how many number of counts. You can auto scale one module as like a independent service like this. It will divide. So microservice will say no tightly coupled concept here. You can divide it. Whatever service you want to auto scale, you can auto scale it. Whatever instances count you want to run, you can run it. It will say microservices. Okay. So microservice deployment will be done on containers only. Microservice will be done on containers. Containers will allow to take deployment of this microservice. Okay. So now companies are moving container world with microservice concept. Okay, microservice concept. This is the application architecture. Container is infrastructure component. Okay, so how to create these containers, how to scale these microservices, we'll see all these things with the help of Dockers. Okay, then why do we need to Kubernetes? Guys, I'm audible, right, for you?
Yes.
Yes, Rene.
Okay. Okay. Now we'll quickly go to Kubernetes. Why do we need a Kubernetes? Now our infrastructure came from traditional world to like this. Now let me tell hardware layer, and here I can say guest OS, host OS, and on top of that we are having Docker platform, and on top of that we are having containers application plus libraries and binaries. We are having this. Now why Kubernetes is, example, this container goes down, this one critical application is running on this, then who will take care of this container restart? There is no one. If you use only Docker concept, then there is no one here to restart your container automatically. Okay, first problem. Second problem, if your host OS goes down, then who will take care of this all containers which are running on top of this host OS? Can anyone restart these containers in any other host? If you use only Docker, it is not possible. To overcome all these problems, there is a tools called container orchestration tools. Container orchestration tools came up, and they will say, boss, no worry. Okay, if you are having Docker or any container platform, install my software. I will take care of all your problems. Like if your container goes down, I'm here to restart your container on same machine or might be some other machine. If your host OS goes down, I am here to take care of this. All containers will be restarted in other available machine. Create a cluster using container orchestration tool. I will take care of your entire things. Okay, so this container orchestration tool is nothing but Kubernetes. Okay, so Kubernetes will give you for your application which is deployed on your container high availability. So with help of this course, what we are going to cover, how to create a Kubernetes cluster for your Docker containers, how to orchestrate, how to scale it, how to scale out, how to manage your Kubernetes cluster, whether it is in AKS, whether it is in EKS, whether it is in GKE. Okay, whatever container platform you build, AKS, Azure Kubernetes, EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, which is on AWS, Google Kubernetes Engine, which is on GCP. Okay, if you know core Kubernetes, okay, core Kubernetes, you can manage any of the cloud platform Kubernetes engine, or else on-prem Kubernetes engine also you can able to manage. Okay, so if you know core Kubernetes, then you can able to manage effectively any Kubernetes platform, any Kubernetes engine, I can say, wherever it is you are able to manage it. Okay, so what I am going to teach you, core Kubernetes, how to create a cluster, how to deploy an application as a container, how to scale in, how to scale out, how to create a high availability for it. Okay, all these things we are going to learn with respect to this course. Okay, that is what Kubernetes which we are going to cover. Okay, so that is all about overall course, and you will get, like, once you complete this course, you can apply for a Kubernetes admin. You can apply as a IAC engineer, infrastructure as a code, Kubernetes admin, Docker related posts, and DevOps engineer posts, cloud engineer post. Okay, so these all you are eligible to apply for it. And you people know how the market is. The minimum package is almost 25 lakhs more than. If you know Kubernetes very well, you will get minimum salary package of 25 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs, something around. Okay. So that is overall about this course introduction. Okay. If you are having any doubts, let me know. I will try to clear your doubts.
Is it
Yes,
online or
Srini.
offline also?
One by one, please.
Yes, Srini. Is it offline and online or only online?
It is only for online.
Okay. So how many days it will go?
It will go 45 days. 45 days to 50 days, I can say. 2-3 days here and there.
Okay. Okay. Do we
Minimum
get
of
any
45.
materials? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
obviously. Example, if you see, this is a study material for Terraform, which I am going to provide.
Okay.
Okay, this is a study material. Hey, here I mention all your application, all your codes and all. Okay, this is going to provide, and I will help you to create your own platform. Example, I will give you all this Terraform scripts which we are doing with the help of while doing class. For example, I want to provide some example modules concept. So whatever I created, I will give you these Terraform files also, then you can practice, and I will help you to create your own lab environment, all these things.
Okay. So same like in Docker and Kubernetes also we will get material, no?
Yes, yes, let me show you that also. So this one. This is a Kubernetes study material. See, this is a Kubernetes one, so which I prepared, and you can get this.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you will get a study material, and you will get my help to create your own lab environment, and whatever we are doing every day, so you can do practicals also.
Okay. Okay, Srini. So when is the first class? From tomorrow
Yeah, from tomorrow only.
or weekly 5 days?
Yes, Monday to Friday.
Okay.
So
Okay, Srini.
first we will start with the Terraform actually, then following with the Docker, and following with the Kubernetes. Okay, why? Because Terraform, with the help of Terraform, you can create an infrastructure. Then
Yeah.
Docker will help you to create your microservice based applications. Then Kubernetes will help you to orchestrate. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
that is the overall scenario will be.
Okay, Srini. Okay.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place.